Go ahead.
What's going on, guys? This is Dance Killer 1994, and today I'm going to do a deck profile on one of my favorite decks I enjoy to play. This deck I've topped at least top 4 on locals tournaments, top 3 in box, and I've won a couple of side events at nationals. And I just wanted to show you guys the deck profile, so we'll go ahead and get started. So for this deck profile, I'm going to try to make it quick. 3 copies of Xiamen. This is one of the starters for the Gold Pride Punk core. This will search you for any Punk monster that you need, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you give your Punk monster an additional 600 permanently. It's really good. That what I want to see. We'll do 3 copies of Foxy Tune. Foxy Tune, I only use her for the discard effect, so I would send her and send an additional card to the graveyard to special summon 1 Punk monster from deck. In case if I get hit with Droll, this kind of works around Droll a little bit, get my plays going. So that's the 3 ofs for the Punks. 1 Deer Note. Deer Note, I wanted to run this to 2. But I think 1 is better. She basically recurs. If she is sent from the field to the graveyard, you special summon 1 Punk monster from the graveyard to the battlefield. Comes in handy, and she can reveal herself and 1 other Punk monster in hand, special summon 1 and send the other to the grave. 1 Madam Spider, she basically searches for the trap. 1 Wagon, I use him to search for the field spell. And 1 Shirakusai. I can fusion summon by fusing materials from the board and from the hand, and during my opponent's turn I could quick synchro, so that's also pretty good. And then 1 extender will be Psychic Wielder. Psychic Wielder, if I control a level 3 Psychic, I special summon it, and if it's sent to the graveyard as synchro material, I target a monster on the board that's less attack than the synchro monster and pop it. So that comes in handy sometimes in certain situations. Depending on the matchup, this kind of gets me out. That's it for the Punk. We'll start for the Gold Pride, starting with 3 copies of Leon. Leon, once normal or special summoned, I can special summon a Pride monster from grave. If I do that, I'm locked into Gold Prides. And on my opponent's turn, I could quick synchro, but I can only use Gold Pride monsters as synchro material. So this comes in clutch a lot. This is a great recursion card in case I need to get out of certain situations. 2 copies of Captain Carry. I mostly use her to search for the trap card in the deck, but other than that, I don't use her second effect, which if she's sent to banish 3 to give something 500 attack for each Pride monster I sent. 2 copies of Roller Baller. Roller Baller allows me during the main phase to fusion summon using 2 Gold Prime materials. Busted card in the deck. I think this is a really broken card because I can go into Pinballer and then just take my opponent's monsters if my life points are lower. So this is a really broken card. And then 1 Nitro Head. Nitro Head gives my opponent a token, and I can pop it anytime and anything around it that's adjacent. It also can't be used as synchro link material, so it's pretty good in certain situations, but people could play around it, but it is what it is. For the Spice, 2 Cashier Fenrir. Some people play 3, I run 2 because it's a little bricky for sometimes. I don't really need to say much about Fenrir, because Fenrir is really good. For non-engine cards, 3 Drolls and 2 Ash. I limit it 3 to 2. For my personal opinion, I think Droll is a stronger hand trap than Ash, because now these days Ash isn't as strong now, so you want to maximize Droll as much as you can. That's my personal opinion. So I'll always keep it at 2 unless certain decks I can run 3, but it's going to stay at 2 for this deck. So that's it for the monsters. Spells, 1 Punk Jam Extreme Session. Pretty good card, allows me to basically a Pot of Greed and a special summon from hand by banishing. 3 copies of Better Luck Next Time. I don't really need to say much for that, but it's a really good card. Lets me draw a card if one of my Pride Monster effects goes off and it goes back to the extra deck. It's pretty good. And one copy of that came out of nowhere. This allows me to Monster Reborn a monster, and my opponent does too, but theirs is negated, so I could just go that to Leon to target a roller baller or anything that I need, and I could just play on my opponent's turn. It's pretty busted. 3 copies of Italy. I don't need to say much about Italy, but super, super good, not once per turn. Non-engine cards, 3 Book of Moons. I did run 3 Book of Eclipses, but then it's not as good as some people think. I think Moon is stronger. There's no setback for it. You don't need to discard a card. You don't, and it's not going to get ashed. It's pretty good for single target removals like Kashtira, Pearlies, anything like that that I need to get rid of. Just to get through, of course. So that's why I run 3. And then 2 Imperms. 1 Dangerous Gabu and 1 Start Your Engines. Dangerous Gabu counts as an Imperm, and then Start Your Engines. The effects is not negated for Start Your Engines. I just reveal 3 special, and then I pop my opponent's monster, so you can do whatever. And the Imperm's Imperm. So this is strictly 41 cards in the main. We'll go to the extra deck. We'll do 1 Carp and 2 pinballers as a fusion. Carp lets you tribute itself to special 2 from hand or 2 from deck. It has a secondary effect. I don't really use the secondary effect much, but the pinballers are the bread and butter of the deck. It's just super, super busted. If my light points are lower, they can't really do anything. It's just take my opponent's monsters equal to the materials I've used. And because of Kashtira that exists still in the meta, I run 2 because of Unicorn exists. So that's it for the fusion. 1 Star Leon, 1 Punk Dragon Drive, 1 Dragite, 1 Navy Dragon Mech, 1 Baron, 1 Amazing Dragon, and 2 copies of Psychic and Punisher. Navy Dragon Mech is one of the new additions to the card. It's easily good to use with Shirakusai on my opponent's turn, and it's basically a Dark Ruler no more for my opponent, except I can actually do battle phase and attack and deal damage. So he basically negates everything on my opponent's board equal to the number of tuners in my graveyard, so which is really, really, really good. I don't need to say about anything else. Baron is Baron because I run the Fenrir for level 7s. And then I run 2 Psychic and Punishers because, as I said before, Unicorn exists. So that's why I run 2. That's it for the Synchros. 2 copies of Chariot Carry. Don't need to say much about that. Still a pretty broken card. 1 Nitro Blaster and 1 Cross Sheet. Personal experience, I had to side this in because I did Nationals and I got Ibly locked really, really bad. And ever since then, Cross Sheep is never leaving. So it's there for Ibly lock, for Angel, for any kind of lock that I'm in. Cross Sheep is a way out, and I can just keep playing. So that's it for the extra deck. The side deck is not that great. 2 copies of Nibiru. I wanted to do 3. I do respect a lot of decks with Nibiru, so I gotta respect it, but I choose 2 because some of my monsters I can just control the board. 2 copies of Dark Ruler, 1 Called By. Some people will think, why aren't you running 3? I think 2 is better, and Called By because I have Navy Dragon Mech to kind of be a Dark Ruler itself, so that's why I run 2 and 1. 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone for back rows, 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Harpies. Let's move this here. 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Harpies, 1 Raigeki. I respect back row decks, so I have back row removal, Labyrinth, Rescue Ace, Trap Tricks, any of the back row decks that sits just there. 3 copies of Anti-Spell. I also respect spell decks. Sky Striker, Runix, Dark Magician, any of the spell decks, pretty heavy. I have that for them. And then 1 copy of Fortune Tune. Fortune Tune is good in case if I'm in a little bit of a pickle, I can just reload, reshuffle resources back in. But yeah, so that's it for Gold Pride Punk core of the deck profile. As I said before, 41 cards in the main. I've had a lot of fun and a lot of success with it, so it's became one of my favorite decks to play. Hopefully in the future get more support, get stronger, but I'll be doing more deck profiles soon, so peace.